Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into this video. My name is Ryan Dobbs and I am the broker owner of the Ryan Dobbs Real Estate Team. In this video, I'm going to be going over how to set up your open house signs. So whether you are an agent doing your own open houses or you are one of our people that sets up signs for our agents and their open houses, in this video I'm going to go over the best practices about where to put them, how to set them up, when to set them up, and which signs we use. So it's going to be a pretty quick video, but I want to start off by just going over a couple of the signs that you're going to be using or that I or my team recommends that you use. So the first one is going to be the open house Saturday and Sunday sign. So this is a yard sign and it has the little stakes that go into the grass. So with this sign, you're going to put this in the yard of the house where the open house is with the arrow pointing at the house. And so we have the times from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's when we typically do our open houses. You can have different times on there. But what that's going to do is it's going to let people know who are driving by the home that know that there is an open house and what time it's at. So you can put this even in the yard a couple days in advance. I like to do that so that when buyers are driving by, maybe they see the sign, it's for sale. They see, oh, there's going to be an open house this weekend. They plan on coming back and seeing you. The next sign that you're going to use is one of these. So this is our welcome, please come in sign. It's also a yard sign and it has the stakes to go in the grass or the garden. I typically like to put this one a little bit closer to the front door. And so this is obviously on the day of the open house. It's going to go up right before we start. So when people are coming, they're going to walk up the driveway. They're going to see the sign, welcome, please come in. Sometimes the doors are open, then people will just walk right in. But if it's, the summertime here, it gets very, very hot. So we typically will keep the door closed, or in the winter if it's really cold. That way people know that they can just walk in the door. The next sign is going to be the most important signs. These are the ones that are going to be what drive traffic to our open house. So these are our open house directional signs, and they look like this. So they are a big arrow, and these are what we call A-frame signs. So they actually fold open, and you just set them basically on the sidewalk or on the side of the road, and they're shaped like an arrow so that people know which way to turn. So that is a key thing about these types of signs, is that they are designed to get people to turn. So now I want to go over where do you put these signs, right? So the first two, those are going to go in the yard. We also have big open house flags. Those will also go in the yard. But for the A-frame signs, what I like to do is I always put out 8 to 12 signs per house, depending on how many turns it is to get through the neighborhood to get to the house. So when I'm planning my where I'm going to put my signs, I always look at a map prior to the open house day so I know how many signs to grab and approximately where I'm going to put them. I'm not just going to figure it out as I go. So I always start at the house and I work my way out to the main road from there. So an example would be, let's say, let me draw this out for you guys. So let's say you have a major road here, a major road here, and then a neighborhood street here and here. And then the house is right here. So yeah, it looks like you guys can see that. So if I'm going to try to get people to get to the house and they're driving typically on these main roads, I'm going to work from the house. I'm going to put a sign right here in the neighborhood. My next sign is going to be out here. So on the main road, I'm actually going to put two signs. I'm going to put one here and one on the other side of the road here. So one thing to note is whenever you're putting your signs out on the side of the road, we always put them on the right side, where people are on the side of the road that people are driving, essentially. So in the United States, we drive on the right side of the road. So you're going to put them there. That's because they're easier to see for people driving by. If they're on the opposite side of the road, they're not as obvious. And so one of the things when you're thinking about how do I set up my signs is what location is going to be the best that most people will be able to see this. So before the turn is always the best practice. So you don't want to put the signs on the opposite side of the intersection or on the opposite side of the road in which you want them to turn down, you always want to put it before the turn. And you also want to have it on the right side of the road where they are driving. So from these two signs, that's 3 signs there. Now on this major intersection, people are typically driving a lot faster on the major roads. So in Bakersfield, I mean, 50, 60 miles an hour is pretty standard on most of our big roads. So what I like to do is on the major intersections, I put 4 signs out. I put 2 pretty close to the corner, and then I put another 2 about 100 feet up the road from those to give people that are coming up to the intersection a heads up that, hey, there's an open house sign. If you want to go to it, start to slow down or merge over. That way you can make a turn. So on these roads, people are traveling this way and this way, right? On the right side of the road, coming up and down. And then people on this road are traveling this way, and they're traveling this way. So the people that are on this road here, they're already going this direction, and if they go through the intersection, they're going to see the signs here. So we don't really need to worry about these people. The people coming from over here, they've already driven past the open house signs that go into the neighborhood, so we don't really need to worry about them either. The people we want to worry about are the ones on this road here, driving up and down. Now, the arrows are shaped like or the signs are shaped like an arrow because they are designed to get people to turn. We don't put signs pointing straight, just say keep going, right? We want them to turn. So, if I'm following the rule of putting it before the turn, then people on this side of the road, I'm going to put a sign here. Oops, my pen died. Right at the corner. And I'm going to put another one about 100 to 200 feet up from that one on the sidewalk. The reason is because, like I said, people are driving kind of fast, so we want to give them enough time to slow down and make the turn. Now, the signs are always going to be catty-cornered from each other, so the people coming down this road, I'm going to put one right at the corner again on that side, and another one about 100 or 200 feet up the road to give them the heads up. All right, so that is sort of the best practices when it comes to placing your signs on what side of the road you put them, and before the turn, not after the turn. It's the same reason stop signs are before you get to the intersection so that you don't drive past it and then get in an accident. So let me erase this. Now, another best practice for your open house signs is not to put them behind a street sign or a telephone pole or anything like that. You want to put them out as close to the street as possible where people have the best chance of seeing it. You don't want to put it in the road so that it gets run over, but we typically will put it right on the edge of the curb. And if you're familiar, like curbs, they typically have that little kind of crease or that indent where it goes from being the curb to the sidewalk. I like to put the 2 legs on the outside in that little groove. It also helps them to stay standing up. If it gets windy, these signs do get blown over. If it is a windy day and you can put some like a rock or something you can find right there on top of it to keep it down, that also helps. Or on really fast highways, sometimes the wind from the cars will blow them over as well. But just to draw out the example of that, let's say this is a curb, and then it has this little indent, and then the sidewalk is here. So you guys can't really see that. The indent is right here. I'm going to put the legs of the sign right there so that they're close to the street. I mean, they're 6 inches from being in the street. So you don't want to put them behind a sign. You don't want to put them far in on the sidewalk or in the flower bed or the flower garden of whatever gas station is right there, because people aren't going to see it as well. So always be thinking about where can I put my signs where it's going to be the easiest for people to see these. Another thing that pops up is if another person is doing an open house in the neighborhood and they already have their signs out on the corner. I've heard some agents don't want to put their signs out there. which is a mistake, because what happens if that agent's open house ends an hour or two before yours? They go get their signs, and now you don't have any signs out because you were using, you were hoping that theirs were also going to direct traffic to yours. So always make sure you're putting out your own open house signs on all of the corners that you need to. That way, if someone does have another open house, if there's a bunch of signs on the same corner, that's okay. The more the better. Remember, we're trying to get people to see these things. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, send me a message, or leave something in the comments. Reach out to our sales manager, or give me a call. So thanks guys for checking the video out, and till the next time.